All right, new question here, but we're going to handle this very methodically. Step one, we're going to read the question sentence. So it says here that, if each site, yada, 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 I do not care about that at all. Anything that happens after the word if and before the comma, it's just extra information that is tied to the problem for sure, but I don't want to look at that first. I want to look at this first. The who, what, when, where, how many, which of the following, right here. What is the length of one side of each square in yards? So everyone, two things that I noticed here. Number one is I want to find the length of one side of the square. And more importantly, I want to make sure that it is in yards. Two things. Let's first figure out, everybody, how we can just get to the side of the square. And once we get there, if it's not already in yards, then we'll convert it. Everyone, does that sound like a pretty agreeable plan? Where we'll plan to find the side of the square first, and then we'll convert it into yards. Is that okay? All right, let's go ahead and try that out here. Let's read this one bit by bit. Here we go. It says a construction company has this much chain link fencing to divide equally among 5 job sites. Each site uses that fencing to make a square. Oh, okay, this isn't terrible. Everybody, think about it like this. I have 270 feet of fencing, right? I have 270 feet of fencing as outlined right here. And when I think about that, it says divide. That's a pretty clear word, right? Division. It tells me to divide. Everybody, what am I going to be dividing by? Yeah, I'm dividing by 5. I am dividing by 5. So let's take a second here and do that. Let's divide by 5. And once I divide by the 5, everybody, look at what the information says. It says that each of these sites uses all of the fencing that's given to it to make a single square. So after I divide by 5, everyone, that number that I'm going to get, it's going to be 54. That number that I'm going to get represents one square's perimeter. Watch. Here we go. Let me divide by 5 and show you the work here. 5 going into 270. 5 doesn't go into 2, but it does go into 27, and that's going to be 5 times. Minus 25, get a 2 left over, drop that 0, and now we get 5 into 20, and that'll be 4 times. So everyone, can we confirm that we just got 54 after dividing the 270 by 5? We can confirm that, right? Good, perfect. So again, this is 54 feet of fencing per square. So for each square, let me actually just take this, move it out of the way a little bit. So for each square, I'm writing this very carefully, being very explicit here. So again, this is each square is going to be 54 feet. Question, my friends, question. When we have the perimeter of a square, what do we know about each of those sides of a square? What do we know about this side versus this side versus this side versus this side? They're all the same. They're all equal. So if we want to find the side length, when we're given the perimeter, yes, we are given the perimeter, 54 feet of fencing. Yes, that is the perimeter going all the way around the square. That's fencing. If I divide this by 4, I am going to have the length of one side. Because remember, perimeter equals 4 times the side. My perimeter is 54. So all I need to do is divide by 4, and I'll have my side. Let's go ahead and get that done here. Let me move this little square off over here. Let me move that away. And then let's go ahead and move all of this a little bit further away so we have more space. And here we go. 54 equals 4 times side. Divide by 4 on both sides. Crosses out or cancels out on the right. And so we'll have the side equals 54 divided by 4, and that's going to be 13.5. If you don't believe me, we can go ahead and do this right here. 4 going into 54. That's going to be 1. And then drop the 4. 4 into 14 is going to be 3. We have a 2 left over. Drop the 0, and that is 5. So we have 13.5 as the side. But can anybody tell me what the unit for that side is? What is that unit? Yeah, that's feet. Let me write that down. Let me write that down pretty clearly here. This is 13.5 feet. Everyone, can you tell me what units our answers are supposed to be in? Yeah, our answer is supposed to be in yards. So technically, everyone, are we done? Are we done? No, we're not. How do I convert feet to yards? How do I convert feet to yards, everyone? Yeah, we're going from a small unit to a big unit because feet is smaller than yard. So we are going to divide by 3. We're not going to multiply by 3. We're going to divide by 3. Remember, 1 yard equals 3 feet. If we're going from feet to yards, that's small to big, small to big. So we will divide by 3. So 3 going into 13.5. 3 goes into 13 4 times. Subtract the 12 and we get 1 left over. Drop the 5 and we have 15. 3 goes into 15 5 times. So there we go. Our final answer is going to be 4.5 yards. And there we go. That's why the correct answer here is answer choice D. Answers A and C were trick answers. Answer choice D is the correct one. So if you got it right, congrats. You did a great job. You did a fine job. But even if you got it wrong, remember that there are so many little nuggets that you can pick up on before you move on to your next practice. So here we are, everybody. Next problem. And what we're going to do is write it out. We have 2 parentheses, one on either side. So we have 6 multiplied by parentheses x plus 4 equals 4 multiplied by x minus 8. So here we go. I'm going to get rid of these parentheses immediately by distribution. I'm going to distribute the 6 to the x, which is 6x, and then the 6 to the 4, which is going to be 6 times 4, and that's 24. So there we are. So far, so good. And then on the right side, let's go ahead and do this one. We have 4 multiplied by x, which is 4x, and then 4 multiplied by negative 8, and that's going to be negative 32. All right, so we've made it this far, and again, we got to pay attention to those negatives, got to pay attention to distribution, but once we get through those parts, now we can go ahead and keep moving things around because I can get the 4x over to the left, and if I do that, I got my x's together. And then the 24, I'll move it over to the right side, and we'll go from there. So here we are. We will subtract 4x on both sides, because once I do that, again, like I said, cancels out, leaving me with 2x on the left. And that's going to be 2x plus 24 equals negative 32. Next up, I'm going to get rid of that positive 24 by subtracting it from both sides, right over here and right over there. Perfecto, cancels out. And so I have 2x equals, be careful here, this is not going to be 8. This is going to be negative 56. So we have a negative number already subtracted by another number. So that's negative. It stays negative. Just add those numbers up. And the last step we'll take is division by 2 on both sides, giving us the cancellation on the left. And that's going to be x equals negative 28. Because a negative divided by a positive, that's going to be negative. And there's that final answer, negative 28. Boom. All good.